their school
Okay,
pledge.
so we don't need to go into
man,
executive
That was
session.
neat. That was
We don't
really,
have
really
to,
good.
but if
That's a
you
lot to
you all
memorize.
received the letter already on this person.
Yep.
So, but if you want to go into executive,
It was very good.
you don't have to.
Somebody else wants
Yeah,
to.
considering the rain.
Ann? Thank you. Call to order. This is a regular meeting of the Cabell County Board of Education, Tuesday, December 6, 2020. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mrs. Bond?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First, I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Jed Flowers. I understand we have some things to celebrate tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam President, Madam Vice President, board members, counselor, and of course Superintendent Sachs. We are very, very excited to have everyone with us tonight. We really didn't expect such a huge crowd, but we're really excited to have you. We're going to start tonight with a very, very special celebration for which we've prepared a video. So if everyone will please put your attention to the video screens. November 3rd, 2022, Huntington East Middle School basketball students were conditioning for the upcoming season when 8th grade student Tim Johnson became ill. Tim was struggling to breathe, so he took a seat in the hallway, trying to recover. But as time went on, he got more and more ill and eventually fell to the floor. Several members of the Huntington East Middle School staff had noticed that Tim had fallen and ran to his rescue, including the school's principal, Jody Sowards. Principal Sowards and the school staff were quickly assessing Tim's condition, trying to communicate with him while contacting emergency officials. They had to reposition Tim to better access him to provide care. When it became obvious that Tim's pulse and breath were fading, Principal Sowards did not delay. He began to administer CPR to Tim. Principal Sowards would continue to administer CPR to Tim for another 15 minutes and would continue to do so once emergency services officials arrived. Principal Sowards never gave up on saving Tim's life. He even helped emergency officials load him onto the stretcher and prepare him for transport to the hospital. While many other Huntington East Middle School staff members and emergency responders played a role in saving Tim Johnson's life, because of his outstanding leadership and courageous actions, Cabell County Schools is proud to honor Principal Jody Sowards as a superintendent's superhero. Mr. Sowards, very excited to welcome two special guests to our Board of Education tonight, Tim Johnson and his mother, Katisha Wells. Tim? We're all very, very happy to see you, Tim. Miss Wells? Miss Wells would like to say something.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a really tough time having a child go into cardiac arrest, suffering the heart condition that he has had for, well, since birth, but we've been dealing with it for about 4 or 5 years. And I'm just so thankful that Mr. Sowers is present and was going over and beyond to help my son. He did. He blessed us by being there, and I know that if it wasn't for him, that Timothy wouldn't be here today. I'm glad everybody came here to appreciate him for all his efforts, and everything didn't go or fall short. And God sees you, we see you, and we really appreciate you.
All right, Mr. Justin Boggs would like to come forward and thank some further people who helped in saving Tim's life.
Madam Board President, board members, and Superintendent Sachs, I just want to first and foremost, Tim, this young man has been in the thoughts and prayers of many people in this county and in this district and this community over the last several weeks, and we're very blessed that you all are here and doing well. So that's my first thought for this. I will tell you that we've got administrators that have titles. We've got custodians, cooks, all the above that have titles in this district. But I can tell you that when people go above and beyond, and it's not only Mr. Sowers for his heroic act, there was other people that were there, as you can see in that video, that were here in this district that were an integral part in saving Tim's life. I also want to take this moment to really think think about how important CPR is and how that training that we do with our staff and why we want people to attend that training and be able to really highlight that and the importance of that because we never think that something like this is going to happen until it does. And we're very blessed that everybody was prepared and ready and to go into action when they did. Nobody panicked. Everybody did exactly what they should have done, and the outcome was absolutely amazing with this. Mr. Sowers is a former basketball coach. As you can tell in there, he had complete control of the situation the entire time. As a coach does, they're telling students they need to do this, they need to go here, and if you watch the full video, you can see him saying, "Call 911." Somebody's checking for this. Somebody's going. The custodian goes and gets the AED machine, all of that, and it's just absolutely amazing when it all comes together like this to save someone's life. But we've got other folks that we definitely want to thank. In the video that you saw, we had Julian Coleman, who is the assistant coach for Huntington East Middle School, was one of the people that was actually checking the pulse of Tim during this event. We also had the head coach, James Cooper. He is the one that you see in the video for the Huntington East basketball team that is calling 911. There were 2 custodians that were integral in this. There was Chris Burdett and Randy Edrington, and one of them got the AED, and the other one initially said when Tim said he didn't feel well, he went and got the coach, and did that and was able to get things to prop his head up for that. Heather James, a parent partner at Huntington East Middle School, was also keeping people back. That's important, that you have someone there to keep people from hovering over in a tragic event like this. We also were very blessed to have Robin Harmon, principal at Highlawn Elementary, who actually knows the family. It was his elementary principal was there because she coaches tennis at Huntington East, as well as Mary Purdue was there as well. They were trying to locate the mother during this to be able to make contact. They were contacting me. You know, these folks were going to the hospital that night, were there late into the night, lots of prayers at the hospital that night. And also we've got I want to recognize Mr. Pennington. He's the assistant principal at Huntington East. He was not there that night. However, he did find it very, very important to recognize Mr. Sowards and nominate him for superhero. So, Mr. Pennington, I appreciate you doing that, and the teamwork, the administration that has at Huntington East Middle School. The other thing is, I definitely don't want to leave out our first responders, our EMTs, firefighters, and those folks. They were there. I know if you watch the whole video, it seems like a long time, but it was not. They were there, and they acted they were swiftly there and were able to go into action as well, even as Mr. Sowards was still performing CPR, and then the doctors as well. There's just so many people, and if I left somebody out, I apologize to them. There was just so much that went right, and we're very blessed. So, Mr. Flowers and Mr. Sowards, congratulations, well deserved. I appreciate everything you do for Huntington East Middle School.
You're here.
Now, of course, we do call this the Superintendent Superhero Award, so none other than Dr. Sachs is going to come down.
So normally, we do this Facebook Live, and we surprise somebody, but the surprise is over, I think. What you all don't know is his family came in right when we started the board meeting, because Mr. Sowards was actually lured here this evening because we are doing a construction project at Huntington East, and so we said that the board needed to talk about that construction project. So he was standing in the back, and Mr. Boggs brought his family down, and I saw him make eye contact with him. You could see he was like, they're up to no good. Then he looked at me, and he knew it was over. So on behalf of Cabell County Schools, Mr. Sowards, your efforts to react in the manner in which you did to provide aid to Tim was a blessing. That day, for other reasons, was a very tragic day in our school district. And Mr. Boggs spoke about all the people that jumped into action. And as I recall that day, and the wealth of emotions that occurred, I had just sat down at my kitchen table with my family, reflecting upon the day when the call came in that Mr. Sowards was administering CPR to a student without a pulse at Huntington East, and that EMS had been contacted. Mr. Boggs, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Sowards, Heather Scarberry, who's also in here, I think, immediately responded to go to the hospital. And we were able to be with Tim's mom. We were there when the doctors came and spoke to her. And as I think about that evening and leaving, I was driving home on the interstate, and I was overcome with a sense of resolve, a sense of appreciation in how the day had actually decided to conclude with there being hope for Tim's survival. And I immediately began to think about my own role as a parent and my son every morning when I drop him off at his preschool. We as parents have a expectation. We have the hope that when we leave our students and our children in our schools, that they're going to be well cared for, they're going to be protected, and they're going to be safe. And I was really happy that we were able to accomplish that day. Mr. Sowards and the team of educators jumped into action to make sure that one of our students was safe and was protected. Mr. Sowards, on behalf of the Cabell County Board of Education and my cabinet, we want to recognize you as the Superintendent Superhero for the month of December. Come on up. So I get to That's a coin. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Don't go anywhere. Now, don't go anywhere. I want you to stand right. I want you to stand. Come over here.
Yes.
All right, you stand right here.
Yes.
Mr.
Stand over,
Flowers,
yeah.
I think, has one more thing over his sleeve.
One more thing, as they say, under our sleeve. We're going to introduce. Oh, we've got a little technical transition here. Okay. We're going to introduce to you from WSAZ Television 3, Mr. Andrew Colgrove.
Yay, Andrew!
Thank you.
Mr. Sowers, along with getting to wear this cape and being the superintendent superhero to help him save this young man's life, you're also this week's WSAZ hometown hero.
Oh, yay!
I guess. You know, first of all, it's an honor and privilege to serve here in Cabell County Schools. You know, I'm a Christian first and foremost, and I
Amen.
believe that God's put me here for a reason. And that night, it was a reason. And, you know, I don't take that for granted. I want to thank my family as well. It is emotional because I got kids, and all I could think of that night was, that could have been my son. That could have been my son laying there. And I would hope that someone would have responded to help him. And I kept thinking about that. And I want to thank my family for that. You know, my wife, my mom, and my two sons. Also, Mr. Pennington, thank you. Thank you. You know, we're a team. We work together at that school to try to best meet the needs. And that night, that was the need. And Timothy, buddy, you don't know, I mean, prayers that went up. Just to see that smile on your face, my man, when I got to see you before you got transported, it meant the world. Because I kept wanting to see you talk and be active. And I'm glad today that you are able to stand up, walk in this room, and just, you know, and God's got a plan for your life, my man. Never
Amen.
forget it, okay?
Amen.
And on behalf of Cabell County Schools, thank you all. I don't feel like no superhero. It's just part of my job. It's what we do on a daily basis. And I would hope, again, that we all would have the courage to do that. And as administrator, we don't want to be faced with something like that. We don't know how you're going to respond when you go through trainings. But, you know, we've got to react and do something. And then that night I had a team, like you said. It came from everything from my custodians to my assistant coaches to my cheerleading coach beside me. But all that have been orchestrated for a reason at that point in time that night. And I'm glad that we were there to help Timothy Johnson and to see him walking here tonight. And, you know, so thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it, Dr. Sykes, board. Thank you all. But it's not a cape worthy. It's just what we do every day as leaders. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Should we do?
I'm an ugly crier. I'm sorry, I'm an ugly crier. You want to go ahead and do it? Facts of life. Oh, my lands. My heart can't take much more.
What we're going to do, we don't usually do this. We wait till the end of the celebrations, but we understand that Tim is just less than a week out of the hospital, and so we want to make sure that he can go home and rest. So we're going to go ahead and maybe take a group picture here with the board, if you don't mind. And Mom, you're welcome. Mr. Sowers and anybody else from the school that was involved.
On behalf of the board, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And I taught for 40 years, and I've been on the board 8 or 9 now. That was just an experience that all of us will carry with us the rest of our lives. I have no doubt. Can't thank you enough, your staff. What an amazing miracle. It's a miracle. And normally when I look out here and see such a crowd of wonderful people, I'm thinking, uh-oh. What did we do?
Yeah.
But it is a delight and an honor to have all of you here tonight to share in this experience. So thank you all so much. And we have some other folks to honor here in just a few minutes. But on behalf of the board, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank all of you. And we'll never forget what we've just experienced. Board members, do any of you want to say anything? Okay, it's hard, isn't it?
My heart is full.
Yeah.
My heart
yeah,
is full.
we're-
It's such a blessing, and Tim, we're so thankful you're here. I can't.
Okay.
It's
It's okay. It's okay. But let's get the young man home and get a good night's
Rest.
rest.
That's right.
Okay? Thank you, Tim.
His mommy has to be so right. Andrew.
That was an answer to a lot of prayers there, right? Well, I hope they can follow that. But coming up next, fortunately, we have from the Cabell County Reading Council, Samantha Fleming and Anna Hoist to celebrate our Young Illustrators Contest winners.
Yay.
Well, I must say that is pretty hard to follow, I think. But Madam President, board members, Superintendent Sachs, we want to thank you for allowing us to come tonight to celebrate our students who have put so much effort into these illustrations that you see down here on the stage. This is one of my favorite contests of the year because it allows students the opportunity to showcase some of those skills that normally aren't maybe recognized in a regular classroom. So the pictures up here are from students from kindergarten to high school. They have illustrated their favorite book, and after tonight, these will go on to be hung at the Huntington Museum of Art as they are every year. So parents and students will be able to go up and see their art hanging in the museum. We want to, before we get started, thank all the administrators who allow these contests to be done in their schools. We want to thank the teachers for taking the time to actually let the students work on these. And we want to thank the parents for bringing their children down tonight to be recognized. So without further ado, I will introduce each student. The student will come up and they can stand with their art. Every year we usually have the students come up and show you their art. And as they come down this side, they will receive their certificate, their small award from us, and then the parents can snap those pictures. I'm sorry, students, you do not get to take those pictures home tonight, so we will collect those so they can go to the museum. All right, so first up, kindergarten, we have Natalie Walker from Meadows Elementary.
Lance, her little purse. I know. She looks so cute.
Hang on.
Are they gonna bring the pictures up?
Oh, I hope so.
And you can stay with your artwork.
Oh, she's so pretty. Love her little heart. Her little purse.
She looks so cute.
Stay, yeah. All right, next we have first grade Braxton Reed from Central City Elementary. Next, we have second grade, Jada Bassett from Central City Elementary. Next, we have third grade Willow Williamson from Central City Elementary. All right, next we have fourth grade Bristol McAllister from Central City Elementary. This year, we actually had one of our private schools in the county participate. So for fifth grade, we have Millie Day from Covenant School. For sixth grade, we have Sophie Eskew from Milton Middle School. All right, seventh grade, Emily Simpkins from Covenant School. Eighth grade, Jillian Nixon from Barbersville Middle School. Ninth grader Lauren Kaufman from Huntington High School. 10th grade Libby Fields from Cabell Midland High School. 11th grade Gabriella Courts from Huntington High School. 'And last but not least, 12th grader Campbell Claiborne from Cabell Midland High School.
We're going to go ahead and do the board photo with the students, and then they'll just turn around to show them their art. And that way we can.
So if the students could pick up their artwork and hold it, please.
There you go. And then I'm going to have to move this. Roll this by you guys. Watch your toes. Toes and all that stuff.
If any of the art teachers are here and would like to stand with their students, please come up.
Test, 1, 2.
Yeah. And if the students will go to Miss Holst over here to get your certificate, we would appreciate it. Just go this way and get your
Okay, with the permission of our Skills USA folks, if you don't mind, our next group from Huntington Middle School has a ball game tonight, and they need to get to their ball game. Do you mind if I flip you? Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got a ball game. So we've
Okay.
got a ball game to get to. Look, we gotta go.
Let's go.
Okay.
All
ball
right,
game.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to flip things a little bit because Huntington Middle School has a game tonight, and they're here to be honored. Huntington Middle School's volleyball team was honored recently for winning the Team West Virginia Secondary Schools Activity Commission Academic Achievement Award 22-23 during the pregame ceremonies of the Class AAA football game at Wheeling Island Stadium on December 3rd, 2022. And of course, a good day to be there because our Highlanders were the state champions that day as well. So you were in great company. The statewide recognition program involves two types of awards given to a team of individuals. The school award presented to Huntington Middle is based on the computed overall grade point average for members of the volleyball team. So these are all high scorers in the classroom and, of course, on the court. And we've got Rebecca Mundy. She's going to come forward and recognize her players. She's the coach.
Thank you all so much for allowing us to come tonight and celebrate the volleyball team. We had a great year. We traveled a lot. We went to Clarksburg. We went to state. We were at games at Wahama. I'd like to thank our administrators from Huntington Middle for being so supportive, and I'd like to thank the parents who got us where we all needed to be. I'm trying to hurry so these girls can get out of here. I'd like to introduce the girls first, and I'm going to start with our team captains. They are Ava Garrett, Brooke, y'all come on down, Brooke Gracie, and Leilani Bounds. The other 8th graders are Kennedy Schultz, Lil Markin, Tori Stoll, Takaya Brown, Alani Sharp, Alyssa Hutchinson. 7th graders here tonight are Aubrey Thomas, Kitty Wilson, Jordan King, Liz Boren, Addie Gallion, Ella Kinsey, Lakin Thompson Moore, and our 6th graders are Emily McNearney, Chelsea Hardiman, Kalicia Mielzrek, and Aaliyah Myers. And also our assistant coach is Kim Maynard. We had a really great year this year. We were 15-0 in our regular season.
Oh, wow.
Not only are they smart, make excellent grades, we had a 3.9 GPA.
Wow.
They can also play ball.
Yes, they can.
If you all, next fall, if you want to enjoy yourselves for an evening, come down to Huntington Middle School and watch us play. I guarantee you'll have a good time and you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Board members, if you don't mind, they do need to get to their game. So sorry. What time is your game? 5? Oh, 5:30? Oh, 5. Okay, so you got to get there quick.
If you could, just so we can get you all in there, maybe.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, good luck on your game tonight.
See, that's when I stopped growing in 7th grade. That's when it all ended for me. It was like, this is all you're getting.
Our next group was patiently waiting for us tonight. And we appreciate that very much, you all.
It's ROTC, yes.
Give them just a second to.
Patiently waiting. Yes. No kidding. This is exercise. Every time we get up, calories burnt.
Okay. Our next honorees are the 2022 Skills USA West Virginia Statesman Award winners. The Skills USA Statesman Award recognizes a student's demonstration of Skills USA knowledge, civic awareness, and leadership skills, along with an understanding of the Skills USA framework and ability to articulate their personal experience and career in technical education. A Statesman Award is the highest honor a Skills USA West Virginia member can earn at the state level. Recipients receive a lapel pin and certificate of completion upon their closing ceremony of Skills USA Fall Leadership Conference, which was conducted in Cedar Lakes. Right now, Bobby Payton, one of the Skills USA advisors, is going to come up, and he's going to recognize the students who received their pins at this year's Skills USA.
First, I want to give a big hand to these kids. They worked their tails off to get where they are. Skills is a student-led organization, and they just kill it when they either at states or nationals where they went. You know, we have a couple nationals went with us last year. So first, we'll start off with. And when I read their name, I'm also going to say what class they take up at our school. So. First one will be Eli Henry. He's in carpentry. Or Eli Hunt. It says Henry. Adriana Brunty. She's in law and public safety. Aiden McCormill, machine trades. Kayla McLaughlin, she's in law and public safety. Brianna Smith, she is in graphic design. This one is not with us tonight, but Savannah Smith, and she is in pre-cosmetology. The next one would be Cameron Ramey, and he is in collision repair. Kenzie Morrison, she is in law and public safety. And the next one we have, who cannot be with us again tonight, his name is Nick Pritchard.
Oh, Nick, yay, Nick. I know Nick Pritchard.
We took a total of 9 up there with us for the fall leadership, and every single one of them came back with their statesman pin. So we were very, very proud of them. I'm going to have Wyatt Board come down. He's going to talk. He is actually our state vice president for Region 1. And we're lucky enough to have him at our school. So he's going to tell you a little more about Skills USA.
So, as Bobby Payton said, Skills USA is a student-led organization to empower today's workers to be responsible citizens and have hard leadership skills and good world-class workers. So as Skills, not only as our local chapter, as you guys see here, our state chapter, we also do community service projects. So last year we built bicycles for kids and donated them to them. Right now, our community service project for our local chapter, which these guys are working on, they are doing a t-shirt and sweatpants drive. So we are gathering t-shirts and sweatpants to put in our food pantry. So like if somebody rips their pants or burns a hole in it or something, we can give them pants. We also do donate to the city mission. We do a lot of other things too. We do the hospitality, huh? Oh yeah, empty stockings as well. We go around and we collect money at our school. And at the end of our empty stockings, we go and we buy supplies. There were certain people that they asked for toothbrush and toothpaste. So we go and we buy that for them, and then we take it to them and give it to them.
Excellent.
No problem.
He said elevator speeches was part of their thing. They're part of their competition. He did a good job there. Very good job. Thank you, Wyatt. Do you want me to hold them in for the next group, and we'll get the two together?
What's your pleasure, board?
For pictures, do you want to go ahead and do the picture, or do you want to wait for the next group? And we'll have 2 of them.
Well,
Whatever you want.
Okay. If you guys can just sit down for just a second here, and we're going to do a group picture
so nice.
right after the JROTC recognition. Thank you all very much. All right. Okay, our next group, they're all sitting right behind the board, and you'd hardly know they were here tonight. You guys, go ahead and stand up now. Thank you very much for doing that. In October, the Huntington High School Highlander JROTC Lady Raiders became the first ever female Raider team to be crowned state champions in the female division, and the first Raider team from Huntington High School to become state champions. They came here to be recognized for that already. But in November, the Huntington High School Highlander JROTC also competed for the second time at the U.S. Army JROTC Raider National Championship. The competition is athletic, and the events take place outdoors and consist of individual strength tests, such as push-ups, a tire drag, an obstacle course, distance team running events, first aid events, and some form of rope bridge construction and crossing. The team of 18 Highlander cadets earned 2 fourth-place trophies at the National Raider Championship and a 6th-place finish overall in the nation, making the team the first Highlander Raider team to ever place at the national level. Let's give them a big round of applause for that. Ariana Carroll was named the overall female state champion in the individual competition, earning the title of Ultimate Raider. This is the third consecutive title for Ariana. The Lady Raider team members, Ariana, Carroll, why don't you guys step forward, maybe to the front here. Oh, there you are. Okay. Well, why don't you introduce everybody, okay? You're the team leader. Yeah, go ahead.
You gave me a microphone. Hello. Hi. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I forgot they had a PR person.
Others. It is wonderful to see you all again. In our last visit, we were recognized for our performance during the 2022 Raiders season. We also made you a promise. We promised that we would return to the Hill as state champions. We kept that promise. Our female, thank you. Our female Raiders made history by being the first female state championships ever. We are also the first Raider team to win the state championships for Huntington High School. Then, we also traveled to Molina, Georgia, as he said, to the National Raider Championship, where we placed 6th overall and 4th in 2 of the events, including the rope bridge and the gauntlet, which are extreme tests of physical and mental strength. This was our 2nd time competing ever in this form of competition and at this level. I, for one, am beyond proud of my team and excited to see our progress into the next year. I cannot make the promise that we will win nationals next year. However, we won't be satisfied until we do. We will train, run, and lift harder, and we won't stop until we take it all. That's my promise to you. The Huntington High School's JRTC thanks you for your continuing support of our program, and this won't be the last time we win, until we see you all again.
All right.
Our female state Raider champion team includes Ariana Caro as our team captain, myself, my name is Chloe Macy. Thank you. Miss Figures, if you want to come down here. Miss Samples. Miss Cade Clover. Liam Sadler. Neff, if you would like to come down here with us. Miss Kitchen. And Smitty, Miss Smith. This was our team that took the female division by storm. We managed to take every first place that held a female division during this Raider season, and I am so extremely proud of this team that I've had the pleasure to compete with, and thank you all for seeing us again, and hopefully we'll be able to keep that promise. And then our national team. So our national team captain, Mr. Liam Palmer. Mr. Chase Day. Mr. Deacon Palmer. Mr. Kozar. Mr. Brandon Lyons. I feel like I'm in the way here. Mr. Smith. Just stand somewhere. Mr. Mers. What is your name, sir? Mr. Quartz. Mr. Roberts. Is this all of us? All right, this is our nationals team, along with our female state champions. And the rest of our Raiders that were so happy to join us tonight. Yay! Stand somewhere.
Great job. Wonderful job. And if you don't mind, maybe we can have our board members now come and take a photo with our group. And then Skills USA will do that. Where's after that?
Miss Bond, will you pass a couple out?
Absolutely, I will.
Mr. Polly?
Yay, I love giving out stuff.
Thank you all, and thank you for your patience. We have so many winning teams in Cabell County. It's just great. Skills USA, as soon as they clear, we'll have you come forward. Okay, Skills USA, make your way forward, please.
I'm beat. Is that what you want? Oh. I'm spent. I love that. That was cute. I said I'm I'm spent.
How are you?
I'm tired.
Oh, yeah, after this morning, or this afternoon, yeah.
On to 2.02, update instruction and leadership services. And hello, Mrs. Watts.
Hello. Good evening, President Smalley, board members, Dr. Sachs, Mrs. Myers. Yay, I said it right. I hope to have somewhat of a short update, but it probably isn't because I've got two different things we're going to do from the tech department, and then we have guests here from the United Way that we're going to highlight. So if Dr. Ashley Stevens, she's going to introduce our special guest. And this will be in your folder under instructional updates.
Board members, there's tab specifically for instructional updates. You want tab over.
Hi, Dr. Stevens.
Hello. Here we go.
Welcome, welcome.
Madam President, board members, and Dr. Sachs, thank you for having us. On November 15th, we had a really exciting event that we got to partner with the United Way to celebrate their 100th birthday. And instead of us doing something for them, they wanted to celebrate with our third graders. And they did so by providing volunteers for every single third grade class, as well as a copy of Charlotte's Web. The students were read to, they received a copy of the book of their very own that they could take home. And it was just such a wonderful way to advance their ideas of literacy and the good work that the United Way does. And so we wanted to tell you guys about it, kind of give you an update. On your sheet, you have the statistics of where they were, how many volunteers were involved. And as a note of personal pride, I appreciated so much the way that our board members and our district office staff stepped up and volunteered for that event. Getting the volunteers is, a monumental task, and when I saw the volunteer list fill up very quickly and they were friends of our district, it was just a really great thing that we could move on with the fun part and making sure that we're celebrating with our students. So we have with us tonight Bill Rosenberger and Carol Bailey, and they're going to share a little bit from the United Way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Good evening. Thanks so much for giving us a little bit of time on your very busy agenda, but what a wonderful night for us to be here and to be celebrating so many terrific things. I have to say I came as a proud grandparent of a young illustrator and now get to also talk about a terrific project that we were involved in. So thank you so much for the introduction and the time. As Dr. Stevens mentioned, we did develop this project, Read Across the River Cities, as one of our centennial anniversary celebration events, and we determined we wanted to read to every third grader in all 5 counties that we cover. So Cabell is one of those 5, and we were happy and very, very gratified to have such a wonderful reaction and response from folks signing up to read to the students. Dr. Stevens has told you a little bit about the details. I'm going to turn it over to Bill Rosenberger, our Resource Development Director. He and his team were really instrumental in pulling this off.
Well, thank you and good evening. And before I say my spiel, I want to introduce Lena Burdett, our Education Initiative Coordinator, who knows every single education person in all 5 counties. And so she was behind the scenes really orchestrating those details. And then Tara Herbert joined us in mid-October, and what a time to join the organization. And we handed her books and said, let's go. And so everybody was instrumental, and not here tonight with us is Michelle Goodman, our Marketing and Communications Director, who designed the logo, ordered the t-shirts, did all the marketing for it. So I was behind the scenes reading the book, I guess. No, it was really exciting. I know I want to be brief, but in 2019, as part of Giving Tuesday, our organization read to students at Central City Elementary. And when we came back from Christmas break, we had handmade cards. And that feeling was something that I really said, we've got to share this with the community. I want people to experience what I felt. And then the pandemic hit, you all remember that. And so as that wore on, we decided, you know what, this would be a gift best reserved for the centennial. And so in all 5 counties, we ended up having over 200 volunteers. We read to over 2,500 students in 135 classrooms. So in Cabell County, that was 88 volunteers, 22 schools, 45 classrooms, and 881 third graders. And so a tremendous effort, a great partnership. So we've got a couple more gifts besides what we did. I want to present each board member with a copy of the book because it's a classic.
It is.
And it is the 70th anniversary of this book. So I do want to present those. And then I would like the superintendent to come down and Ashley to come down. We've got something extra for you as well.
Aw. Thank you. I love Fern. So yay. I love this book. Thank you.
So, the initial part of this project, Cabell was really the county that stepped up first to partner with us as the largest county. And so I want to present this gift to not just Ryan, but the entire county. And I want to present this one to Ashley because without her, I'm not sure we would have been able to spearhead all of it. Well, however you all want to do it, one's for the trophy case, one's for her desk. And so we just certainly appreciate what was able to be done. And I'd love for you to make some remarks because you are one of our readers.
Sure, absolutely. This type of initiative where you engage the community, local businesses, other adult individuals that can go and read to a child, not only has a lasting experience on those volunteers, but it's a lasting experience on our students. And the mark that makes is just tremendously important. But I think it really goes deeper than that. I think it goes deeper in the heart of why it is so important that we read to our children.
Yeah.
I'm going to share a personal story. From the time that our son, Paul, was born, actually probably before he was born, we were reading to him in the womb. I'm not sure we did so much of that with our second one, but we definitely did with our first one. And, Paul is an amazing young man, but we read to him every night. It's part of our tradition as a family. Right before our prayers and right before we go to bed, we read. And he's always so excited about the books he reads. And there's a book, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what the book's name is right now, but it talks about a child doing something and that mom is greatly displeased. And so therefore, the child recognizes that mom is displeased, and so he corrects his behavior. So the other day, Paul got in trouble. Mind you, Paul is 5 years old and has had a speech delay. Did something he wasn't supposed to do, and he looked over at Aaron and he goes, "Mommy, are you greatly displeased?" And so the reason I say that is not because, Paul was in trouble or, it was because his vocabulary for a child that's 5 years old who had a speech delay has clearly been enhanced because of the fact that his parents read to him every night. And so really, when you talk about a love of learning, but developing lifelong learners, you can't do that if that equation does not include reading to your child every single night and reading to children in general. And thank you to the United Way. Thank you for the work that you have done, just with this, not just with this program, but all the programs that you do to benefit our children and our schools and our classrooms. But this one in particular really hits home for me. And I want to thank you for that work and the dedication to our students. So thank you.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice. Oh. Oh.
I think like everybody else will.
Thank you. And our United Way is one of our great partnerships, and we are always very appreciative of Bill and Carol.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you.
So next, I have a technology update for Mr. Jackson, but first, I want to highlight some very important people out of his office. Our techs are sometimes the people that are always behind the scenes. They're not the ones coming to the meetings to give presentations to you all, but they are there in the schools every day solving some of our greatest technology issues. I kind of call them our unsung heroes, and very appreciative of the work that they do on a daily basis. And I just wanted to take a moment to kind of introduce them to you and say thank you. So tonight we have Kevin McCaffrey. Stand up, guys. Let's put some faces with the names. Rusty Barrett. Rusty was in my office yesterday working. Alex Rakes. Dally McComas. And Charles Porter could not be with us tonight, but we wanted to thank them and just wanted to know how much we appreciate all the work that you all do. And thank you for coming to the board meeting so we can put some faces with our names. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Miss Jackie.
Yes, and Connie Hightower is here
Yay,
as
Connie.
Yay. Hi, Connie.
well.
She is.
That's not Connie.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
That's
Connie
Connie
right
right
there. Yes. Okay. I was like, I didn't even see Connie back there.
That woman, I know.
Oh. I was looking at I was like, that's not Connie.
I was in high school, middle school.
Okay.
I would like,
Hey, Connie keeps us all straight. Wait a minute, right, Connie? Yeah, no, yes. She keeps all of us straight.
can I say one thing
Yes, absolutely.
about Alex Rakes? He is fantastic. Whenever we had a conference and stuff and he would come to the house, you were such a pleasant gentleman to work with, and with all of my stupidity and technology, he was so patient with me. I give you a thumbs up. Thank you, Alex.
They can just walk in a room and things that you thought you could fix and you've tried everything, they could literally walk in the room and all of a sudden they touch it and it is fixed. It's amazing.
Makes you feel more stupid than you are.
True. So anyway, I want to turn it over to Jason, and what he's going to do is update you on some of the instructional software that we have purchased and that the schools are using.
Good evening, board members.
Evening.
President Smalley, Superintendent Sachs. To build on what Deputy Superintendent Watts just said, these four guys and the one that couldn't be here this evening and my secretary, they're the core of what gets this department get things done on a daily basis. They're the ones that never back down. They never think any challenge is too much for us. They say that we'll get it done, and they get it done. So I appreciate everything you guys do on a daily basis. This evening I come to you to talk about some instructional updates for a change. We've talked about phones and we've talked about hotspots and everything else. Tonight I want to focus on our Clever, and I think everybody understands what Clever is, but just as a brief reminder, it's our single sign-on system that Cabell County School uses for our students to access our learning resources. The wonderful thing about doing this evening was that we just had our year-end review with them on the things that they do for us. And there was a lot of good stats that came out of that. So since the beginning of this school year, 12,268 unique student users have logged into Clever since August. That is over 2.1 million student logins since school started this year. There's been 118,000 teacher logins. Every single student that has an application shared to them, and that could be iReady, it could be paper, it could be anything that's in that system that our students use, every single one of them has logged in at least once to that system. We can verify that. Most of them numerous times. Sometimes our students come in and out of the system very quickly, but everybody has logged into it, and they've all been into it at one time or another. Some things that I kind of pulled out of this, while our students can access Schoology separately, and they can access their Office 365 accounts separately, they actually use Clever sometimes to access that. And so from that point, almost 8,000 of our users use Clever to get to Schoology on a daily basis, and about another 3,200 use it to get to Office 365. So Clever is kind of our one-stop shop for our students and our staff as we go through it. Most of our students, not surprisingly, are accessing it through an Apple browser of some sort, through their iPads. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. 11,648 MacBooks are in there. iPhones, so our students are actually using their iPhones, or our staff is using iPhones to get to Clever as well. Some of us are still on Windows devices from time to time, and then iPads. And at the very, very bottom of this one on the left up there, it says Other, about 957 logins from a different device. Safari by far, which is the Apple browser that you find on iPads and MacBooks, is by far the largest Mac browser that gets into it, followed by Google Chrome. And then some people are using Edge, which is a Chromium-based browser, and then Firefox. But it's kind of unique to how our users are getting into this very quickly on a daily basis. Right now, we have 31 different applications in Clever that are rostered by us. Mr. Basin does a wonderful job getting that done. Since October 2020, that is 3 times as many as we had back then. Clever is where we keep everything as far as we can go. And then something Clever shared, I mean, I thought was kind of interesting from a county perspective. There are applications out there that can be used to do what Clever does for free for us, by the way. However, according to Clever, that saved us about $36,000 on a yearly basis by using it instead. It's money back into Cabell County Schools budget instead of having to pay for something else to accomplish that. Kind of unique. 89% of our students are logging in monthly. Now that number's a little bit off because you have to remember we have students that come into our system and they leave immediately, so those numbers are kind of a little skewed at times. This one's the one I really appreciate because if you know how they log in, they use that, if you have students, I know Ms. Bond does, they log in using their Cabell County Schools account and their password. That's 6,000 hours saved by students logging into one stop instead of logging into multiple stops. And that number, I had to ask how that was based. So I dug a little deeper into it. That was based on a 10-second login. Having been the person that taught kindergarten and first grade before, 10 seconds for a student to log in would be rather rapid. So I think it's even a bigger savings than that. And the number at the end there is something me as the data privacy guy that concerns with. 5,760 exports are avoided. Every time you'd have to export something, if we were asking our teachers to do this or individual schools to do this, typically people are sending Excel files up to somebody to enter rostering in so you can know which students are in there. By doing this through a secure thing as Clever, we're saving that from being out there and potentially exposing our data to other people. Kind of a nice feature as well. This little table came about, and there's some things I want to hit on this. You all know how we use iReady in our district. We use it for math and reading all along the board. 99% of our students are into that at any time of the day or night. That's a total of over 660 logins to iReady just this year alone. By the way, this data is about a week old. It was actually at the end of November when I pulled this. Rhythm's the new app that Mr. Thomas has pushed out to check on our students' welfare. That just came online in the middle of September. We're already reaching a 48% utilization on that on a daily basis. Having been out in the schools and see what happens, especially in the elementary setting, I've watched the kids come in and the teacher says, hey, don't forget to do your rhythm this morning. Kid grabs their iPad, they go in, log in through Clever, and they go in and fill out the rhythm application and let them know how they're doing on that day. The other one on here is paper, and this is something that Dr. Sachs brought to the district to do that tutoring any time of the day or night. We're at a 36% utilization already with a total of 3,657 logins, over 1,284 users. Something that found in the background that I asked her looking it up, we've had students on there for 4 to 8 hours already trying to get homework assistance any time of the day or night. So it's been a very good success for us so far, and I think I expect it to get even larger as we keep going. Any questions on this, any of these other applications, I'll do my best to answer them for you. But this is just kind of showing how we're actually using all of these applications through our Clever resource. This is a little chart that came out, this bar graph that shows that's how we've grown. If you go back to 2017, we had about 3 applications in Clever. And if you look at where we are now, we're at 31. And that number I gave you earlier, we're at 3 times that many as we had in October instead. Most of these applications are things that we pay for. Some of these applications are direct access through Clever. The ones at the end that you see that SSO are free, those 2 small green and the darker green application charts there, that's for things that just actually identify our students to another application that we may not actually subscribe to instead. There's something that's just used. And the last big one I have for you, this looks back at our grade levels. And of course, the far left of this chart, and I'm sorry it is so small, I got it as big as I could on here. Pre-kindergarten has very little access. Pre-K doesn't go to Clever usually. But if you look from kindergarten all the way over through 9th and 10th grade, those numbers stay pretty much the same year to year on our utilization. I went out and spoke with some of our academic specialists at the high school level because I was concerned about the drop-off I was seeing the juniors and seniors. And that's simply because the programs that they're enrolled in are not using the Clever interface to access instead. The AP courses, the dual credit courses, things along those lines, they're not using a Clever rostering system to get into that. And if you just think about 200 or 300 students that we have in those programs total, it kind of makes sense as we see that drop off as we get to the upper grade levels. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that may come up over the brief presentation this evening. Thank you all, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson.
Okay, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mrs. Watts. Mr. Hardesty, how are you this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much, Madam President, board members, Dr. Sachs, Ms. Myers. I do want to say before they disappear behind me that the Tech Department, they do a fantastic job, and Ms. Neely, Alex helped me out this week as well with a changeover in a computer. The next day I didn't have Adobe Acrobat, and I put in a work order, and a few minutes later he has the patience of Job. I understand what you're saying. So I thank them very much. It's just a great group of people to work with. I do have a couple of things. As you know, we've had a pretty full day. I appreciate all of you that were able to make it out to Davis Creek groundbreaking. It seemed to go very well. That's not something that's done by one person. I just want to say that I really appreciate all those that helped through the process. It's a large number of people that help with that. But it's an exciting time, and I can't wait till we have all the students and faculty there when we do a ribbon cutting. So looking forward to that. But on the board agenda tonight, I have a few items I want to go over with you just to see if you have any questions on those. On 4.02 and 4.03, those are interagency agreements, and that is with our new medical assisting program. And we have already made a note to ourselves next year to try to combine that with the LPN program, because we already have these interagency agreements that you've approved once for the LPN program, but the medical assisting is new, and so we'll probably combine those into the same agreement because it's with some of the same entities. But those are the first two on there. You have a lot of things behind my divider, and I gave you a copy of those. At some point, if you don't want all that stuff, let me know. But you have a copy of that. You can see what it is. There are a couple places that I've had to fill in on the one that gets signed once it approves, such as our address to the board office, those type of things. 4.04, and you have a copy of the contract that's in there. This is an extension, and I realize the amount is not to a point that needs to come before the board, but I really wanted to make it transparent to the board. Back in July, you approved a chiller rental for Village of Barbersville because our chiller went out there. And if you remember at the last meeting, I told you that it was delayed. It was supposed to be February, now it's May. Well, they were supposed to take that chiller out at the end of October, the rental. We went ahead and renewed it for November because the first few weeks in November were really warm. And the way that chiller works is set up that anytime it gets above 50 degrees, that will kick on and start circulating through the system. And so my fear was, especially in November, that we could have some warm days and the building would get uncomfortable. We know we're going to have warm days as we get closer to the spring. And it was so difficult to find one to rent the way it was. I was afraid if they came and took it out and took it away, that we would have trouble getting one in March when we really need it. We don't need it now. We don't need it in January, usually February, because even if it were to need to kick on above 50 and it wasn't there, it would not be uncomfortable during those months usually. However, when March hits, late March, April, May, we will certainly need a chiller in place because we'll need the AC on. And so what we did, I went ahead and of course then renewed for November, but because they were supposed to come and get that at the end of November last week, what I did is I worked with Casto to see if we could leave it in place. And if you remember back in the original one in September or July, it was $125,000, And that was the delivery. It came from, I believe, St. Louis. They brought it in. They had a crane on site to sit it in place. And my fear was that if it left, we wouldn't see it again. And if we did find it, we'd also have an installation fee with a crane and all of that. And so we really got a nice deal. If you notice, it says $22,000, and that is through the end of May, but that also includes the month of November rental as well. And so starting in December through May, they're going to let us have the chiller for $1,200 a month rental. And we do not have to pay an additional pickup fee at the end because we've already paid for that in the original agreement. And so I want to just make the board aware that my fear was that if we took it out, even though we wouldn't be using it most likely in the next couple months, is that if it's gone, and we wouldn't have it when we need it in the spring. 4.05 is vehicle purchase. And we have a list of the bid in the front on that section. And you'll notice that 4.05 does not match everything that was put in the original bid that we received from the dealership. We put it out for bid. We received no bids. We put it out again and called many dealerships. We received one bid at that point, and that's what you're looking at. We did not go forward with all of the vehicles on that because we felt like it wouldn't be prudent at this time to purchase those. We feel like there might be better options in the future for some of those. However, we did recommend on the agenda tonight for two 3,500 class pickups for the maintenance department. And those are heavy-duty trucks that are diesel. And the reason that we had, and they're single cab, and that is what we put salt spreaders and snow blades on the front. And that's to replace the one that was wrecked a couple years ago that we have not replaced yet, and one that's just rusted out that we've had to take out of service. And so that would be the two of those. And then the 3 Transit Connects, it's what we asked for was a Transit Connect or equivalent, and what we're receiving there on the agenda, and you'll see those, I think they're Savannah's. I think that's,
it is Savannah.
And those are actually for the technology department. And it's to replace them and to make sure that they have the vehicles they need. So you'll notice also that there were 2 other SUVs on there. We asked for a Chevy Traverse or equivalent. They ended up bidding 2 Buicks, which are a higher-end luxury vehicle that we felt like was not what we would like to be purchasing. And we did not put those on the agenda for consideration. And we feel like there might be better options later, but we're told by several people that just due to the availability of chips and how they're marketing things, they're going more of that way. So we did not put those on there. The other one that's not on there is a large dump truck. We felt like it's just too big. If you'll notice, the specs that we requested was a certain size. That one was, I think, the one that they spec'd was about 20 feet before everything else is added to the truck itself. And we felt like it's just not maneuverable on the lots that we have. And so we did not go forward on that one either. So we did select the 5 from there. And 4.06, I know we just had the groundbreaking, but it's change order number 1 for Davis Creek. And this is, if you remember back to when we approved, when you approved Davis Creek Elementary, I talked about the stone on the front of the building. And we had, and if you notice the fly-through that Phoebe did, it had stone on the bottom of the pillars and along the front of the building, right in the very front. And her original design and the specs that went out was all brick. It's something that they had asked for numerous times. And if you remember, we saw the stonework that Mr. Ferguson had placed on Meadows. And really, we inquired what would it take to put the stonework, because that's something that the design team really kept requesting over and over. Well, we found out that the total replacement cost for that on the stonework at the bottom is $17,605.08. And that's why you see a change order before you. Had we received that before the last board meeting that you approved it, We would have included that on the bid amount, but we felt like because the design team was really asking for that, and it does offer an aesthetic appeal to the building, that we felt like we would like to bring that to you as a recommendation. And you have that documentation in there as well. So I know it's a lot of stuff this month, so, or this week. So are there any questions at all before I move to the next portion?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Harsey, just a real quick question. It's just general information. As far as replacement of vehicles, is there a policy or a schedule that you have on those? Or is it like you just said, I have one wrecked, I had one, that rusted down? I mean, is there a mileage or some sort of a trigger that you look at?
We really go by the shape of the vehicle.
Okay.
Because the mileage that we put on some of those vehicles, when you're talking about scraping lots or hauling within the county, the miles don't really rack up like a lot of vehicles cross country or interstate highways.
Right.
However, when you're scraping in snow and salting, salt takes its toll on the vehicle.
Okay.
And so that is part of the problem. Now, we do that when we look at each of the vehicles, that we try to maintain our vehicles. But one of the things that we do is when it comes to budget time, we look at the needs and try to prioritize those needs based on the condition of the vehicle.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
that's something every year when we're looking at this year's budget. So really, in our budget this year, what we tried to budget for were these vehicles, a large dump truck and the 2 SUVs, a new vehicle for each of the driver's aids for each school, each high school, and a couple vans for our high schools. We have not put those out for bid yet. We were working with the dealership to try to get, not a particular one, but we wanted to make sure the driver's ed teachers get a vehicle that they're comfortable with. We're having trouble finding dealers that have something in stock that can take them and let them see. So we're trying to get that. We just want to make sure before we put something out for bid, it's what they're comfortable teaching the kids to drive in.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the 2023 Chevy Silverado for? It's listed under under total bids in that column.
Each of the pickup trucks are considered Chevy Silverados.
Okay, okay.
And they have a 1500 class, which is the regular pickup truck. They have a 2500, a 3500, and I think the dump truck is actually a 6500.
6500, okay.
Anything else?
I'm actually not finished yet. I just wanted to make sure there were no questions before we
That
move
was
on,
just a
because while we have had a
non-percent.
great day with our new groundbreaking, if you notice, Mr. Ferguson is here. And I know we have some new board members that may not have seen some of the original work that we were putting into not only Meadows, but also the new Cabell County Career and Technology Center. And so Mr. Ferguson can come up and give a little preview of that.
Good. Bye, Jackie.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Frank, you may want to stay for this. Welcome. How y'all doing? We'll get started here. Like Mr. Hardesty said, my name's Dave Ferguson for the new board members. I'm project architect and principal of ZMM. And we'll start with the New Meadows Elementary School. That is the current floor plan that was submitted to the School Building Authority for design development, and we will be finishing this project in mid-January, 9th of January, I think I have scheduled, so that we can submit to the School Building Authority one more time for final documents. And for those of you that don't know, what happens after we submit that project to the School Building Authority, it takes approximately, they're allowed 2 weeks to review the project before we go to bid. They'll make comments if they have any comments, and so it also is simultaneously submitted to the State Board of Education, David Roach's office, so that we can get their approval and have their comments as well. But we will go out to bid, I want to say around February 1st, or if not before, as soon as we get their comments back, and then bids will be due end of February, 1st of March, so that we can move it onto spring construction. I don't have, do I have a pointer on this? Do you know? Oh, green
When
button.
you point to that, they're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That worked.
That'll work.
See if I can talk here. This is the main entrance to the building. This is the secondary entrance. I would say the bus entrance and car entrance would be on the front. I don't have a site plan with me, but you'll see that soon. The dining is here, multipurpose room is here, administrative offices are here, the kitchen and support mechanical equipment rooms are back in the back. These are public toilets for use when this area is used by the public. This is all classroom. This is an art classroom right here. Again, student toilets on the corners to be accessible from the other classroom wing. This is the design committee elected to do a media center area. It's more of a STEM lab, a social space. We utilize the wide hallway. That's why you'll see the wider hallway here at the beginning. So this spills out into this space right here. These are first, second, third grade classrooms along here. This is the pre-K and kindergarten classrooms here that open up into their own play area right there. Okay. At the end of this, we were going to take an alternate for another classroom here that will be used as, they mentioned, either a culinary arts or a music classroom. We can expand that for a little bit for an alternate, as well as an outdoor classroom at the end of that room. Those will both be alternate pricing that we take to see what the bids come in.
And the reason that is so important, board members, I'm sorry, if you don't mind, I
No,
apologize.
you go ahead.
This building had to be designed not exceeding the requirements of Policy 6200 because of inflation and those sort of things. The SBA has said that if you are going to come back and ask for more money because your bids come in over budget, we'll only consider it if the building is at the minimum requirement, that you haven't had fluff. You can't be more than the square footage that's allowed. You can't have additional things on the property, on the school or on the property. So don't bring us anything that has fluff, because we're not going to approve it. So that's why those alternates are listed there, so that if the bids come in higher than expected, then we'll be able to go back to the school building authority, because they're committing $10 million here for this project. Say, hey, we need another $2 million. They'll help us cover that cost, and that's why it's designed this way without anything extra. But after that occurs, then if there's some things on that priority list that we want to be able to fund, then we would maybe have an opportunity to do so.
That's correct. Right now, there are a total of, I think, 10 projects across the state that they have funded, and 5 of them have received additional funding based on the fact that they have reduced their initial design to Policy 6200. And that's our goal, and that's what we've achieved with this floor plan, and that's how we will be able to go back and ask for additional funding depending on how far over the project is. Now, that doesn't mean that they will give you everything you ask for. You're going to have to negotiate a little bit. They're going to ask you to come up with some additional funding as well. But it all depends on how far over, if we are over at all. The way the cost trends are right now, it's leveling off a little bit. We hope by after the first of the year it sort of starts dipping. It will never probably go back to the way it was a couple of years ago, but it will dip some. I just don't think it will ever get back to the $200 a square foot cost. It's going to continue to rise a little bit above that. So this is the couple exterior views. This is one view of the multipurpose in the entrance, and then this is a little bit closer view of that.
That's beautiful.
This is the main entrance. And this is the corner of the multipurpose room and the bus entrance over here. This would be the media center STEM space in the back, in the front of there, right there. It's all mostly glass.
Yeah, if you can just keep it there for me, Dave.
Sure.
This area right here.
Yeah.
I think you might already shared this before, what that interior is going to look like, but can you give a concept of that media center?
The media center is, when we first started talking about the Meadows School, you remember we talked about Ritter Park. So we talked.
Don't say that.
well, we talked about.
Don't report that, please.
No, no. We talked about the concept of Huntington and what is Huntington, and the design committee wanted it to resemble Huntington. So some iconic things in Huntington are the steel mills, railroad, and Ritter Park. So we are going to have some stone on that media center on the interior that resembles that arch at Ritter Park, and we're going to have some ceiling design that resembles cogs on a train, and the skewed wing, or the wing that's on the floor plan that is on an angle, is going to resemble a train station. So we're going to try to incorporate some things in Huntington in this school. That came from the design committee. They had a lot of good ideas, and we tried to incorporate all that. In fact, actually, some of the color scheme on the inside, one of our interior designers had on a necklace one day. And they all said, that's what we want. We want the colors on that necklace. So now that necklace hangs in our office, and it's all about the colors of the floor and the colors on the wall. And so it's very, very unique. Okay, let's move on to the Cabell Career Tech Center.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Do we know what the Meadows mascot is?
Honestly,
Are they a
Wildcat.
cat?
Wildcat?
Oh, they have a paw. I have their magnet on my fridge.
I was wondering about throwing that in some fashion.
Has there been any thoughts on that?
There'll probably be a logo on the floor in the multipurpose room, more than likely. That either shows up in that activity space. The Career Tech Center, we've had several meetings with the staff, individual staff members on their individual spaces. We're trying to gather all that information from those folks, and we're continuing to meet. We recently met with VOAG folks, and we are going to meet with all the nursing staff. There are three different nursing programs that will be in this facility. We'll try to go through the floor plan's a little hard to read. I'll try to go through it with you. The main entrance is here. That is as you look at the Sears store now from Panera Bread, that's that entrance. We're going to keep the same location there at this point. This green area here, if you can see it, it's a hallway. This is the mall entrance right here. This is the other entrance on the other side of this existing Sears store, and it's going to maintain there. So what that green area represents is the public access. They cannot get into the educational space.
Good.
But people will be able to leave the mall through that direction as well. So we need to maintain those exits to fix that. We will have two administration suites, one for the students, high school students, and then one for the adult ed area as well, and that will be located here. Once the public enters this space, they can only go in the green area unless they are vetted through a safe school entrance into the student space. So you cannot get into the Career Tech Center itself without being vetted through secretaries and swipe cards and all that. Basically, I'll give you an overview here. All the nursing programs are up in this area. The counselors' areas are right here. There is what we want to call a lecture stair, and you'll see some renderings here in a minute. That's in the center of the building here. We have a PE space for the students that are there all day. We also have a cosmetology here on this corner that is accessible by the public. They'll be open so far. They'll have to vet people in to that space as well. We have, this will be the aerospace area. We've moved some things around since the last time we visited with people based on their comments. I think this is law and public safety, if I recall correctly. Can't see it from here. This is all, and I want to say your high bay spaces, your HVAC, your plumbing, your carpentry, your electrical, and all those kinds of things. Building trades, machine shop. This will be expanded a little bit based on our comments from the staff. That's going to be auto mechanics and collision repair. Okay. So all that will be in this area. That's the current auto shop. If you've ever been to the old Sears store, that's the current auto shop. We also have some potential programs we haven't talked about much yet, but we talked about having a plumbing program and a masonry program. VOAG would be over here, where the greenhouses and things would be on this side of the parking lot. There will be fencing around the parking lot. You do have 15 acres that we are going to manipulate with fencing, and there's a lot of the outside spaces that the heavy welding, all those space, carpentry, those will be utilizing outside spaces as well. Okay, so the second floor, this is the second floor. This is what I want to call where the lecture stair is, and if you don't know what that is, it's an open stairwell, and it's also a place where students can go and learn. You can have lectures there. You can go and get on your iPad, performances, all kinds of things there. There will be this is open to below, so you'll have a rail around through here. You'll be able to see what's going on down below.
So it'll feel lofted.
Mm-hmm. And this is the conference center. Right now, it seats 4 to 450 people. We have support spaces up here. We have a dining room.
David, that conference area will also be able to be divided off.
Yes.
Separate rooms for training purposes. One of the desires was to make this a central location for professional development.
Nice.
For teachers and service personnel, because mid-afternoon they can go to lunch on campus, come back,
Yeah.
Then of course this is something we could also share with the community through rent agreements or something like that. And the culinary arts students can help cater events or contracted with the public as part of their simulated workplace. So currently the mall area, that area of Barbersville does not have any significant conference area. And so it might be something that becomes very beneficial for the community as well.
We also have a student dining room. So that is right here. We have a full kitchen, student dining. We hope to, depending on how the roof line meshes with the second floor. Oops, sorry about that. We might be able to have patio dining.
I already
I
saw
teased you
it.
too much.
I saw it.
Sorry about that. We also have, we moved, aerospace is up on the second floor, and down where the aerospace used to be is graphic design, excuse me. And this is the culinary arts, which we will have a bistro cafe and a rooftop dining as we presented in our initial thought.
Nice.
We hope to have that. Now we'll get to the picture you just saw.
Cafe.
This is what we came up with initially, and everybody loved it and thought that that's where we need to be. So we've kept this thought. This is how we're designing the building toward. We're going to try to reskin the existing Sears store as much as we can, and that is the entrance that you'll see from the Panera side of the building. So as you come across that crossroad, across the interstate, you'll be able to visually see that, hopefully, when you get to that stoplight. And this is the opposite end of that. The auto body would be to the left. You see the little bistro up on top of the roof there. And that's, let's see here, I think I have some interior pictures as well. As you walk through the building, this is where we've blown out this part of the second floor to get that high area as you walk through the initial front door. So you get a high bay space there, 2-story space that you can look over. And then this is that lecture stair I just talked about. Now you'll notice the green wall. I'm hoping we can do this so that the VOAG folks will take care of it. That wasn't well received the other day, but
He doesn't like me very much. I don't know if you know that.
But I do like a green wall.
It is a pretty wall.
Yeah, it's a
I just
live.
wanted- I
It's a
just wanted
live
to turn
wall.
around.
So if we can get the vocational agricultural group to buy into that and to take care of that, we would.
Sure.
We could sell that.
Yeah.
But that's that area that I think is really going to be well used also. This is a video. Jason, I don't know if this is going to work or not here. I don't know. What do I have to do to? Can you do that? Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's pretty much, that's our design concept, and that's what we're, I guess, shooting for. The staff has seen that, everyone is involved has seen that video, and we hope to achieve that. So our goal is to complete the drawings and specifications to go to bid sometime in March. It's not an SBA project, so we only have to go to the State Board of Education and get their folks to review that, and then we can go to bid. So we hope to bring them along as our progress gets further along. We hope to involve those guys earlier, so that the state board, so that there's not culture shock when they see drawings at the last minute. So, and we'll keep you informed as we get each milestone as we go along. You have any questions, or is there anything I can answer maybe?
We're pleasantly overwhelmed. It's beautiful. It is. It's beautiful.
Dave said to me the other day, he said, listen, he said, I really hope you don't want to change the front of the Career Center. He said, because we like it so much that we made it our Christmas card for ZMM this year. and it's a pretty one. I see the snow even in it. It's, yeah, so, but yeah, it's an exciting project. Both of them are.
It's amazing, because coming in from Panera Bread and off the interstate right there, that is the first thing people are going to see when they're going on 64 coming through our community, and that is something really to be proud of. I mean,
Well,
it's great.
it's also very innovative to be able to take a retail store that would actually just sit there and just probably fall apart.
Yeah.
And become an eyesore. Yeah. And people do this actually across the country, but I'm glad you took the step to be a forward thinker and actually make sure that you be progressive about things. And I think it's a good move.
I mean, just for refreshment, what's the square footage of this facility compared to the old facility? What's the?
I don't recall the old facility, but the new facility is 230,000 square feet, counting the second floor.
So it's basically.
That's the old,
basically double the
almost.
size of it. Fantastic.
Yeah, and you'll have more programs, and the availability of more programs, better parking, better outside services, and hopefully students will be able to go out in the workforce in that area as well.
May I,
Yes,
Madam
ma'am.
President? The room that we were talking about that can be divided off, used by the community, can that also, is it going to be available to our schools? Like, if an elementary school is having a performance, a lot of times they'll come here and use this facility. Is that going to be open to our
I think that's the idea.
It's great.
That really hasn't been talked about a whole lot, the final use for that. But we did want to, it was asked for that we did have a large meeting room that could be divided up, that the public or that the students or other schools could use.
It's great. I'm really pleased to see that in there. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dave, I appreciate it. Madam President, that concludes my update, unless anybody has any questions about anything else in our departments. Thank you very
Thank you so much, Mr. Hardesty.
Thank you.
We are ready for communications from our superintendent, Dr. Sachs.
Thank you, Mrs. Smalley. Thank you, board members. Just to give you a couple updates of what's going on across the district. I know that you've had a lot of information today already, and there's just so much to celebrate in Cabell County, right, really. And it's because of the dedicated staff and students that we have. Just tremendously blessed. So we've been conducting middle school tours of our Career and Technology Center. The Career and Technology Center has hosted students from Barbersville Middle, Huntington East, Huntington Middle, and Milton Middle for 8th grade tours. And what's really unique about these tours, board members, is that they're led by the high school students themselves. They're the ones that are talking to the students. They're doing demonstrations so that students can learn a little bit more about the career and technical education programming that we have available, as well as sort of putting that experience with what they've already learned about some of the careers that are available. So again, this is an exciting opportunity for those students. And just as a reminder, our Career and Technology Education Center is available for 9th grade students also. So a student can go through 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and be full-time enrolled at the Career Center. So, it's a really wonderful opportunity. Also, Huntington High School has received the Fired Up Friday Award from WSAZ Channel 3. As you may recall, Cabell was one of the very first districts that signed on to be a part of this programming, and Midland knocked it out of the park, and then I think that just gave Mr. Cunningham the extra little bit of oomph and challenge. And of course, they had it with the bonfire and the Dew Crew and all sorts of wonderful activities. But they were recognized. It was 2 weeks ago now, right after our last board meeting, as the winners of all the high schools across the region. So congratulations to Huntington High for that. We're also open for enrollment for Cabell County Virtual Learning Academy for second semester. We want to remind parents and families that if you're interested in a virtual learning experience, that there is none better than Cabell County Schools. As a reminder, K through 8 students receive face-to-face instruction through the comfort of their own home with a device, and so that enrollment is open currently for registration. Also, as you saw with United Way, we had Read Across the River Cities, and I was really excited to read to the students at Martha Elementary School several chapters of Charlotte's Web, actually. So it was I hadn't read that book in a long time, and it brought back a lot of memories. As you are aware, we recognize the Reading Council's Young Illustrators this evening. We want to congratulate those students, as well as Skills USA, the West Virginia Statesman's Award. And so we want to congratulate those students who received that Statesman Award. Also tonight, we recognized the WVSSAC Academic Achievement Award for the Huntington Middle School Soaring Eagles volleyball team. So we want to congratulate the Lady Eagles on that accomplishment, as well as the JROTC Raider student Highlander team, who earned 2 fourth-place trophies at the National Raider Championship and a 6th-place finish overall in the nation, making them the first Highlander Raider team ever to place at the national level. So we want to congratulate them, as well as Ariana Carroll, who was named the overall female state champion in the individual competition, earning the title of Ultimate Raider. So congratulations to her as well. Board members, last Friday I had the opportunity, it was the required opportunity, I guess, or the obligatory opportunity to meet with my fellow superintendents from across the state, to meet with State Superintendent David Roach. And, we're going to be meeting once every 2 months with the state superintendent across different things. And the state superintendent has a primary priority that he has been very, very clear in establishing with superintendents and with constituents across the state, and that is that there will be a focus on improving reading and math scores across the state. And I applaud the state superintendent for issuing for establishing this goal and this priority. So one of the things that the state superintendent did for the superintendents is that he wanted us to be aware of some of the latest research around reading, and specifically the science of reading. What was interesting about this is that there were several subject matter experts as it related to the science of reading, and really about the pedagogy of how we establish high-quality readers, especially by grade 3. But what do we do when we have students that haven't mastered the art of reading by grade 3, and how are we closing those gaps? And so there was a lot of conversations around the importance of sounding out words, phonemic awareness, things that we know we have struggled around in the past. And it also talked about what we've been doing wrong for quite a long time around a lot of the initiatives that have occurred around reading over the past decade and a half. And the test scores show that picture of that trend, especially when you look at the national assessment scores with NAEP. Well, as I was sitting there, of course, I share with my team back home things that we're learning, and I had another sense of pride. And that is that we have been training teachers on the science of reading for the past 3 years here in Cabell County. We have done very specific training around the science of reading for our K through 2 teachers. We have about half of our 3rd grade teachers taught or provided professional development, specifically around the Letters and Lips program. And the Letters and Lips program is something that has been very, very specific that aligns to the science of reading, which is a shift in thinking about how you teach reading compared to how reading has been taught, again, for the past decade and a half. And I really feel that it is extremely important to give recognition where recognition is due. So Ms. Giles, will you please step up here? Ms. Giles is the one who came to Ms. Watts and I and established the need for this several years ago. Ms. Giles said, look, this is where we're struggling. This is why our instruction can be improved. We need to be able to bring research into this. And so she is the one who single-handedly brought in the science of reading to Cabell County schools. And I want to thank her for being ahead of the curve. I want to thank her and give her credit for having the forward insight, the capacity to research what our students need, and to, again, be ahead of all the other counties in the state of West Virginia, what they're doing. Ms. Giles, you are a true blessing to Cabell County. And I know that this is coveted, but she is deserving of the superintendent's coin of excellence this evening for, again, her forward thinking and keeping Cabell County schools current with the latest research around how we can best help students succeed and develop a love of reading. So, Ms. Giles, congratulations. If you know Ms. Giles, you know why I posed like that. So actually, I'll tell you, I've been planning this all afternoon. Well, actually, I've been planning it for several days. And I looked at Miss Watson. I said, "What happened to Miss Giles?" Because Miss Giles, what I want you to know, is she was already leaving. She was on her way somewhere. She turned around and came back because she thought I had some questions about the science of reading for you all. But Miss Giles and Mr. Adkins and Mr. Thomas and Mr. Boggs are all supposed to be heading to Wheeling right now. So thank you for turning around and coming back and being
Thank you. Thank you for recognition.
Would you like to say anything about the science of reading, though, while you're there?
I do. When he said that they were listening to Science of Reading, I said, what? I said, why am I not doing that presentation?
She said. She did. Why am I not presenting?
So, yes, we have done it, and we are such firm believers in it, and we are seeing our kids move every day. So you will hear me talk about letters and lips and, and that's all we talk about. And I am a math person who has turned into a total reading nerd. And it's all because of, the science of reading and the, initiative that we have put forward. And we have been working on it for 5 years. And, we keep trying, we're trying to expand it into our upper grades a little bit more so. So we had Carol Tolman in here working with upper grades at Guy and Dot this last couple weeks. So we continue to work on that initiative, and we keep, it's been great. It's been fantastic, and our kids have really reaped the benefits. So I appreciate this, but this is what our kids need. So thank you very much.
You're very deserving. Thank you. Safe travels, folks. Board members, as you know, last week we had the send-off for the Huntington High football team, and as such, they were the first team in Huntington High's history, as well as Huntington East's history, to ever win a state championship title. Actually, I learned that the last Huntington school that ever earned a state title was Douglas High School back when it existed, and so this was very record-setting for us. And so we want to congratulate the Highlanders on just this huge win. They will actually have a recognition celebration tomorrow at the high school, I believe at 9:30.
It's at 9:30.
Yep. Board members, if you would like to attend, please feel free. We would love to have you. And then I also believe that there is in the works. Actually, I think it's already established. Let me make sure I have it right here. On Monday. Oh yes, next Monday at 6:30. And I'll have Jed send you out an official invite. I'm sorry, at 6 p.m. There will be a championship celebration parade in downtown Huntington hosted by Mayor Williams. And, of course, the marching band, and we'll have all the pomp and circumstance. And so the players, coaches, cheerleaders, majorettes, and the Huntington High Band will march at 6 p.m. from 7th Street to Pullman Square on 3rd Avenue, and a ceremony in the Pullman Square courtyard will take place immediately following their arrival. The ceremony will be rain or shine. So we're really excited to be able to recognize the Highlanders on Monday evening.
Is
So-
Monday the 12th? Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, that is correct. And then finally, board members, I want to thank you all for your commitment and support in being able to, provide all of these construction projects. As you know, this afternoon we had our Davis Creek ribbon cutting ceremony, which I think was just, how uplifting was that? I'm just tremendously pleased with the work and the progress we're making. Mr. Hardesty has done a fantastic job in holding our architects and our contractors to timelines and to budgets and so on and so forth. We're just really, really pleased that we get to begin this project, and it's the first of among many that we're going to be able to be doing and celebrating. So, board members, thank you for your continued support, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sachs. Do we have any questions, board members? All righty. Thank you so much, sir. We are moving on now to delegations to be heard.
We do not have any, Madam President.
Oh, good. Okay. Ooh, I should have said that. Strike that from the record. All righty. Board member comments. I just asked for some. So.
I
Oh,
actually
you do
have
have one. All right.
Madam President.
Thank you, Mrs.
I
Bond.
just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to talk about how great the kids from Davis Creek were. A lot of the kids came today, and thank you, Mr. Hardesty, for letting them keep their hats, because that was super cool. But they listened, they were excited, they were so well behaved. It was a great group of kids. And as a kid that went to Davis Creek, it just kind of filled me with pride this morning how happy they were. And a lot of those kids are going to get to experience this new building. They're going to get to go there. So it was just wonderful. Just kind of shout out to their parents and teachers and service personnel. They've got a great group of kids there, and they were wonderful, and I really enjoyed it.
I agree with that. I noticed a little girl on the end of the front row with the pink shoes.
Yeah.
And I went up to her after the ceremony and told her that I wanted to let her know how impressed I was with her behavior in particular. She nodded her head on the main points of every speaker.
You knew who that was?
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
asked her, and she asked me my name. She said, "Who are you, ma'am?" And I told her my name, and then she said, and then I heard Kurtner. I said, "Kurtner?" As in Reeves Kurtner? She says, "Oh, everybody knows my dad."
Oh, I know her mommy. I know Bethany.
Well,
Her
yeah,
mommy.
we
Yeah.
do, but, and the other kids saw her talking to me. They all just came over.
Yeah.
They all just came over, so I said, I told all of them that they behaved just super, so mature, and I said, you really represented Davis Creek well.
Yeah.
And then I saw them over there looking at the rendering of the school.
They were. Yeah.
What a great picture
That
that had
was.
to have been. I saw one of the TV people filming that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's
Perfect.
just, so I agree with you, ma'am, it was
Yeah.
wonderful. Absolutely. All righty, workshop requests. I don't know that I have to do this, but I'm going to request that we continue to work on board docs in our work sessions, and we will, on board docs, the laptop program we tried before, and work on it in exercises. We will not be taking official votes, but I want us to be able to do what we did that first session until we all have a really good handle on it, and then we can start hopefully easing that into
Voting.
Yeah. So I thought that went extremely well, by the way, and I enjoyed being with everybody on that. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda, please. And Mr. Hardesty, as usual, has given us a great overview of just about everything in that section. Do we have any questions or comments? Or do you wish to make a motion to approve that section?
Yeah, I make a motion that we improve the entire 4,000 section as listed.
Okay, no.
Second.
All right, and we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And pushing your button. I won't say that. Okay, so that takes care of section 4. Let's move on to 5, being financial, and of course, we don't have any presentation tonight. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Rocket? He's been with us all evening. Okay, we have nothing, so
I saw
you did a
that,
great job.
Madam President, I saw that Mr. Rockin's daughter is in the school spelling bee on Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My son is in as well. So.
Oh, no.
Ooh, I think that was a little bit of a smackdown. I don't know.
Congratulations.
What time?
This is
What
fun.
time is it?
It's at 9:30 on Wednesday, and if you go onto the Village Barbersville Elementary Facebook page, there will be a link where they will live stream the school spelling. Third,
okay.
fourth, and
Pick
fifth
a
graders.
team. I mean,
Okay, oh, well, thank you for letting us know. This is interesting.
That's cool.
this is going to be fun.
Okay, moving on to personnel, under 6.
Madam President, we
Yes,
do have
103.
one item, which is an employee discipline, which is item 6.03.
Yes.
Each of you all did receive the notice of that recommendation.
Yes, sir.
And so if you would like to further discuss that, then I would ask that we go into executive session. However, if not, then I'm more than okay with just providing the name.
All right. Yeah. Having heard the superintendent, what's your pleasure?
I read your letter and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
It was a 3-day suspension.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I feel the same.
Same way.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we sure?
Just
Okay.
stay out here.
All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, if we can go ahead, if you don't have any other questions about any other sections of the personnel section, I would ask for approval of the personnel section excluding item 6.03, and I'll make that as a separate recommendation.
All right.
Which one?
I'm recommending approval of the, actually, let me just start off with the discipline. Let me just start off with the discipline, and then we can
Okay.
do the rest of the, is that okay?
That sounds good.
All right, so, Madam President and board members, I recommend that the board ratify a 3-day unpaid suspension for Albany Sanford.
Okay. All right, we've heard the,
Move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent.
all right, Mrs. Neely moves.
A second.
Mr. Miller seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President, board members, I recommend approval of the 6,000 series, the personnel section for professional and service personnel.
All right, we need a motion.
Make a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Hawley and Mrs. Neely seconded. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none, motion carries. All right, special board items. I think we've pretty much dealt with
Hit 'em all.
special board
All sorts of
items
special
all
stuff,
day today. Update on current legal issues. Madam Myers? No, Madam President.
Good.
All right. Well, you know what that means. I think the end has arrived, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Vaughn moves. Mrs. Neely, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
He had 2 corrections, I didn't realize.
Thanks to all of you. Put in a long day. But it was a good one, wasn't it?
It's been long and good.